Friends and people laboring on Labor Day, we feel ya, we see you. Thanks for waking up with us, tuning in. It's time for News for All America, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm Nick Smith in for Adrienne this morning, and we are talking about so many different things this morning, including that manhunt in Pennsylvania. The
manhunt in Pennsylvania. Also, can I just say, too, that Jimmy Buffett's passing this weekend, I think took the world by surprise.
Absolutely.
And sad. Everyone is sad about it. But to have Clint Black on the show last night serenading our audience with a song they wrote together, it'll bring tears to your eyes if you haven't seen it.
And just sharing that raw emotion. You know, he's just talking about how much Jimmy meant to him. You know, he talked about how those Parrot Head fans would travel all over the place to come see Jimmy, bringing their blow-up parrots, wearing their floral shirts. It was always just a good time. And it was all about peace of mind, and it was just a good energy and a good vibe.
Yeah, his loss will be felt, but we have his music
Absolutely.
to last us a lifetime.
Well, now to a developing story overnight. Thousands of people remain stranded in the Nevada desert after flooding washed out the annual Burning Man Festival on Sunday.
This is a true nightmare. Stories are pouring in of all of these people having to hike, you're talking 6 miles, 12 miles for some, all the way to safety.
In that mud.
In this mud. Look at these photos. Festival goers running out of food. They're running out of water. There has been at least one death. Emily Finn joins us now with the latest from the middle of the desert. Emily?
Hey, Markie, good morning to you. There's about 70,000 festival goers that are still stranded in Black Rock City as authorities continue to investigate a death at the event.
This is a disaster like never been seen at Burning Man.
It's been a weekend filled with mishaps for Burning Man attendees. On Friday, a death was reported at the site of the event. All inbound and outbound traffic was halted. Festival goers were advised to shelter in place and conserve food and water. Local authorities are still investigating and have not yet released the identity or cause of the festival goer's death. Now, around 70,000 attendees are trapped in the Counterculture Festival's muddy campgrounds. More than 1/2 foot of rain has drenched the festival, leaving stranded attendees to trudge through mud.
This mud turned very slippery and hard to drive on and walk on, and that's caused by people walking on it and driving on it, and so it gets super slippery.
The U.S. Bureau of Land Management says the vehicle gates will remain closed for the remainder of the festival. Attendees say they are helping each other out with supplies until Burning Man ends.
The community here at Burning Man just has a different attitude about some of the stuff. People help each other with housing, with food, with supplies. So I think there's a general sense that, you know, this is going to end very soon and the gates will open and we'll all be on our way home.
Despite the death and shelter-in-place warning, attendees say they still plan to burn the man, which is a massive wooden sculpture that's become a tradition at the festival. That's supposed to happen tonight, as long as the rain doesn't put a damper on those plans after it was already postponed due to the weather, Nick.
Yeah, Emily, we just need the rest of those people to get home safely. Emily Finn reporting for us this morning. Emily, thank you. And developing this morning, authorities are on a manhunt for an escaped murderer in Pennsylvania. This is just outside of Philadelphia. Take a look at this surveillance video released by the Chester County District Attorney. They say these are images of Danilo Cavalcante. He was convicted of first-degree murder in August and has been on the run since Thursday. He was spotted about a mile from the prison, police calling him extremely dangerous, telling people in the area to lock their doors. Dre Clark is following the latest this morning for us. And Dre, you and I have talked about this before. We're often used to police saying, hey, there's a guy on the run, just stay away from him. But this time they're really raising the threat level.
Yeah, investigators feel like this is someone who is extremely dangerous, and they're telling people don't take any chances, don't take anything for granted. Keep your doors and windows locked and your cell phone close by in the event you should see him or hear something near your home out of the ordinary. Because, again, they say this man they're looking for is depraved and extremely dangerous. And certainly for people who live near that Pennsylvania prison where he escaped, the last 4 days and nights have been full of anxiety and fear because police say this escaped convict is desperate to remain free, and he also has a very violent past that includes murder.
This is the most recent image of escaped prisoner Danilo Cavalcante. The grainy video captured on a home surveillance camera early Saturday morning, not long after someone else reported an attempted burglary in the same area. The video confirms widespread belief among law enforcement that Cavalcante is still in the area, mere miles away from the Chester County, Pennsylvania prison where he escaped last Thursday.
Police have responded to well over 100 tips from varying neighbors in the area, including allegations of possible break-ins to residential homes in the vicinity within a 1 to 2 mile radius of the prison.
Investigators won't say how Cavalcante escaped. He was convicted August 16th of murder after a jury returned a guilty verdict in only 15 minutes. Cavalcante stabbed his ex-girlfriend 38 times in front of her children. Investigators say he murdered the woman after she became aware he was wanted for murder in his native Brazil.
He's got a life arc of being very comfortable with violence because he grew up in Brazil in a gang. He's comfortable with crime, and obviously he's comfortable with murder.
The search area is heavily wooded, surrounded by homes. Officers carrying rifles locked and loaded, search dogs on the hunt, while choppers and drones look from the air. People in the area urgently warned to be careful.
Remain inside, lock your doors, lock your cars. He is still considered an extremely dangerous individual.
And the district attorney, whom you just heard from, says she does not believe that Cavalcante had any type of help coming from inside the prison to help him make that escape. But they also, again, aren't going into any details about how exactly he went free. Also, in that surveillance video released over the weekend, Cavalcante was carrying a backpack. Investigators say they don't know where he got that backpack from, and nor do they know what's inside of it. One other detail they're mentioning about him is that he's a short guy, only about 5 feet tall, but nonetheless, he's short, but extremely dangerous. Markie?
Yeah, got to get him back behind bars. Drake Clark, thanks for that update this morning. We'll stay on top of it. To the campaign trail now, where President Donald Trump is extending an even bigger lead against his rivals in the GOP primary, despite 4 criminal cases against him. According to a Wall Street Journal poll conducted just last week, President Trump is now the top choice for 59% of GOP primary voters. His nearest rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, commands just 13% of primary voters in that same poll. Let's bring in Nichole Berlie now, White House columnist for The Hill. Nichole, it's always good to have you on. Again, Trump capturing nearly 60% of GOP primary voters. That's up 11% from April. About half of those voters say the 4 indictments against the former president fueled their support for him. So my first question to you, are you surprised he hasn't taken any sort of dip here?
Not in the Republican primary, Markie. With the general election electorate, it's a different story, and we can get into that. But among Republican voters, there is a widespread acceptance of former President Trump's argument, that argument being essentially that he is being targeted. Now, that is something that has not only boosted his poll numbers, it has boosted his fundraising in the wake of all 4 indictments. So am I surprised by this? Not really, but I would note that there are a lot of independent voters and, of course, Democrats who have a completely different view.
Yeah, and when you say let's get into it about how this will affect the general election, how it'll affect other voters outside the GOP, I mean, how will this play into what we see take place come November 2024?
So I think there's a crucial point to remember there, Markie, which is in 2020, although the election was close in the Electoral College, then President Trump lost the popular vote by about 7 million votes. So holding on to his base doesn't do him any good. He needs to add to that base. And I think these indictments cause a massive problem there, because we look at opinion polls and we see a majority or strong plurality of the overall population that does believe these charges are legitimate, that does not accept his argument that this is some kind of witch hunt.
And these latest numbers are good news for President Trump, but they're terrible news for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And for a long time, DeSantis was seen as the sole alternative to Trump. Why has he not been able to make ground here? What do you think it is?
It's one of the biggest questions of this campaign to date. I do think that there's a genuine question now about whether Republican voters are buying what Ron DeSantis is selling. His whole campaign has been premised on this idea that the Republican primary electorate was interested in a Trumpy non-Trump. That may just not be true. But in addition to that, his campaign has made a number of errors dating back to its launch. You'll remember, Markie, the Twitter Spaces launch, supposed to be this kind of innovative way to start a campaign that was just a mess. He has overspent in his campaign, which has caused him to cut back on staff. So there are strategic errors in addition to a real question about whether the rationale for his candidacy actually works.
Yeah, we have seen a bit of unraveling when it comes to his camp, that's for sure. I was also surprised in this latest poll to see Nikki Haley. She's now moved up to 8%. She's coming in third, above Vivek Ramaswamy at 5%. When you have such a lopsided race such as this, though, Niall, how are the other candidates justifying their decisions to stay in? Is it just simply maybe bigger dreams of 2028 and beyond? Or how do you stay in when the numbers are so off?
One thing that those candidates can take some measure of comfort from, Markie, is history. They look back at polls at this time of the race and they see how much things change. At this point in 2008, I know that's going back a while, Rudy Giuliani was leading the Republican field. And of course, that didn't pan out for the former New York City mayor. It's rare for Republicans to ever cite Democrats as a template, but they think back to 2008. Hillary Clinton led Barack Obama by a massive margin in the national polls. Obama beat her in the Iowa caucuses. The race changed at a stroke. So they cite those kind of historic examples as evidence that these races can change, however one-sided the numbers appear right now.
Yeah, and I know that same poll also shows a dead heat between President Trump and President Biden, and still 17% of respondents are undecided. So we have a long way to go, Niall, until next year. Thanks so much, my friend. Always appreciate it.
Take care.
Nick.
Oh, thank you so much, Markie. Today, President Biden marking Labor Day by honoring the American worker with a speech before a major union in Philadelphia. The president rallying workers there as unions nationwide, unhappy over wages, benefits, and industry threats, begin to take matters into their own hands. 323,000 workers have gone on strike so far this year. That's the third most since the millennium. And from Hollywood to Motor City, those picket lines may soon be growing. Our own Tom Dempsey has more on the summer strikes. And Tom's, this is unfortunate because workers are simply saying they want to make more, but they don't seem to be getting the support they need from employers.
Hey, good morning, Nick. Yeah, in just about an hour or so, President Joe Biden will be celebrating Labor Day with a speech in Philadelphia speaking directly to sheet metal workers. But like you said, the timing of the holiday obviously notable, especially this year with strikes getting national headlines and President Joe Biden continuing to tout himself as the most pro-union president in American history.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
For the past few months, the United States has witnessed what some describe as the summer of strikes. From UPS workers threatening a massive walkout that would have led to a supply chain disruption, to Ford and General Motors auto plants in Detroit still facing possible walkouts later this month.
All we've tried to do in this is prepare everybody so in the event that we have to take action to get a fair and just contract for you, that we're prepared for it.
In Hollywood, screenwriters and actors have been striking since May, calling for more protections and compensation. It's left many fan favorites on pause. They were joined in June by workers at more than 100 Starbucks stores nationwide, and hospitality workers in LA who walked off the job in July. Concerns being voiced in multiple industries as the country marks Labor Day.
Just corporate versus the little man. It doesn't matter where you're at, if you're a mailman, whatever labor you're in, whatever, if you're in another union or anything like that, we're fighting for everybody.
Now, as the 2024 presidential race continues to gain steam, President Biden has leaned into his support with unions, his team recently touting its investments in manufacturing, which it says will lead to more jobs.
Unions raise standards across the workforce and industries, pushing up wages and strengthening benefits for everyone.
But with Americans still paying more at grocery stores and gas pumps, Republicans plan to keep inflation and the economy in the spotlight. Senate Republicans recently posted to social media, quote, "Everything is more expensive and Joe Biden thinks he can convince Americans otherwise. The American people are smarter than that."
Now, President Joe Biden marked Labor Day last year by speaking to steel workers in Pittsburgh. But again, as mentioned, this speech in Philadelphia kicks off in about an hour or so, 9:15 a.m. Eastern time. Again, that all taking place in Philadelphia. Guys.
Okay, we'll see what he has to say. Tom, thanks so much. Still ahead on Morning America, there is a renewed debate in Congress over aid for Ukraine, and it could stop relief funding for victims of the Maui wildfires and the victims of Hurricane Idalia. Details on the potential holdup.
And the original lead singer from the band Smash Mouth is in hospice care this morning. What we know about Steve Harwell's condition next.
The best political team anywhere. The Hill, weekdays at 5, 4 Central on NewsNation.
When you drive a Ram, summer is more than a season. It's an opportunity to load up on more toys, to stop looking for fun and be the one who brings it, and to make every day even more inviting than the last. Make this the summer you drive America's best light-duty pickup.
During the Ram Labor Day sales event, get 4,000 retail consumer cash allowance on most 2023 Ram 1500 trucks.
Lactate is 100% real milk, just without the lactose. Delicious, too. Just ask my old friend Kevin.
Nothing like enjoying a cold one while watching the game. Who's winning?
No idea. Real milk, real delicious. And don't forget to try some delicious, creamy Lactate ice cream. What's that, Mabel?
Wow. Smart cow.
My mental health was much better, but I struggled with uncontrollable movements called TD, tardive dyskinesia. TD can be caused by some mental health meds.
And it's unlikely to improve without treatment. I felt like my movements were in the spotlight.
Ingrezza is a prescription medicine to treat adults with TD movements. Ingrezza is different. It's the simple, once-daily treatment proven to reduce TD that's #1 prescribed. People taking Ingrezza can stay on their current dose of most mental health meds. Ingrezza 80 milligram is proven to reduce TD movements in 7 out of 10 people. Don't take Ingrezza if you're allergic to any of its ingredients. Ingrezza may cause serious side effects, including sleepiness. Don't drive, operate heavy machinery, or do other dangerous activities until you know how Ingrezza affects you. Other serious side effects include potential heart rhythm problems and abnormal movements.
It's nice. People focus more on me.
Ask your doctor about #1 prescribed once daily Ingrezza. Learn how you could pay as little as $0 at Ingrezza.com.
When you find your reason to go on, let it pull you past the doubt, past the pain, and past your limits. No matter what, we go on. BioFreeze.
I'm Sherry.
I'm John. I'm a pharmacist. As we were starting to age, it's like, well, how can we help our cognitive abilities? We saw Prevagen. I did read the clinical study and went ahead and gave it a try. I feel that Prevagen is helping me with overall clarity, and as a pharmacist, I've recommended it to not only just customers, but also to friends and family as a safe product to try.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
When a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name, it's a race against time to stop the theft of your hard-earned equity.
Many people don't know this has happened until long after it's done.
You as the homeowner think you still own a house. 3 months later, you start getting foreclosure notices and you realize you've got 4 mortgages on your house that you didn't even know existed.
So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim at HomeTitleLock.com.
Meet Gold Bond Healing, a powerhouse lotion that moisturizes, heals, and smooths dry skin. With 7 moisturizers and 3 vitamins, you can pay more, but you can't get more. Gold Bond, champion your skin.
Welcome back. The growing debate over aid for Ukraine may also hold up relief for victims of the Maui wildfires and Hurricane Idalia. The White House wants to tack on an extra $4 billion to address the disasters in Hawaii and Florida, bringing the total to $16 billion. But the request is being tied to additional aid for Ukraine, leaving some Republicans balking at the added expense. The debate comes during a skyrocketing deficit, now up to $1.6 trillion, more than double what it was this time last year. For more, we're joined by Victoria Coates, the vice president of the Heritage Foundation's Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy. She also served as deputy national security advisor for Middle Eastern and North American affairs during the Trump administration. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Happy Labor Day.
Same to you. Victoria, I know that this is a situation where everyone feels as though one party is holding up things for things that we all believe in. But Victoria, why is funding for Ukraine such a sticking point for some Republicans? And are Republicans simply against sending more money to Ukraine, or is it this more about additional funding is being pushed through in this manner?
I think it's the latter. I think what Republicans are concerned about is the president has not at any point in the last, I guess now 18 months of this war, sent what we call a standalone funding request to Congress so there can be debate on the topic of Ukraine. And congressmen and senators can cast their vote based on how they feel about the president's strategy in Ukraine. What the administration did was drain the FEMA account over the course of the last year on things like COVID vaccines and migrant services, and didn't replenish it when Congress was in session over the summer in July through normal procedures, which would have been a very uncontroversial thing to do. And instead, they let the account get quite low and want to ram through this emergency supplemental sort of at the 11th hour before the end of the fiscal year at the end of this month and tack Ukraine aid to it. So if you are in a state that's vulnerable to hurricanes or you're from Hawaii, you have to vote for this. You don't have a choice, regardless of how you feel about Ukraine.
Victoria, is that also part of the secret of tacking that on there? Because who's not going to fund victims of Adalia? Who's not going to fund the victims of Lahaina?
Yeah, it's a pretty cynical ploy on the part of the White House to say that you're going to hold hostage this aid for the American people that they've paid for through their taxes. You're going to hold it hostage to Ukraine. So you're being forced to vote for additional funding for Ukraine, or else you're not going to support the American people. It's, as I said, a very cynical ploy, and Congress is right to stand up and say that they won't stand for this.
Victoria, this reminds me of what former President Bush once called fuzzy math. Now, we've seen the huge spike in the deficits this year amid these environmental and global security crises at this rate. How can the U.S. continue to fund the government over the long term if we keep doing this?
We need a fiscal gut check. Congressman Chip Roy and I wrote in February that national security and fiscal security are becoming the same thing. This deficit is ballooning out of control, and that's not even the main problem. The main problem is the spending. There's absolutely no check on spending. This emergency supplemental is part and parcel of that, because this is outside of the very modest budget caps that were put on in January. So this is going to break those caps and continue the president's just unbelievably reckless hand-over-fist spending with taxpayer dollars, which he doesn't seem to feel at all accountable for.
Until the American people choose to hold him accountable. Absolutely. Victoria, I know that you and I will be discussing this again as we get closer to trying to get that spending bill approved. Victoria Coates, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Nick.
Coming up this morning, gender reveals are usually a great time for families, but some have had dangerous or even deadly endings. What could be behind this big trend? Coming up next.
Plus, is President Biden's strategy of not talking about President Trump's legal troubles, is it wise or is it foolish? We'll discuss that after the break.
And NASA's plans if the James Webb Telescope finds extraterrestrial life, what the space agency could do. Also coming up.
I hope that begins with taking a selfie if you see an alien.
I hope so,
there you go. Hey, guys, let's play a little game. You all at home, I do want to hear from you. Today is Labor Day, which we've been celebrating for 141 years. Now, to honor the first Monday of September, we have some trivia from my producer, Tina Palafero. Do you know how many hours was the average workday before the Labor Day Act was passed? Is it A, 14 hours, B, 16 hours, C, 12 hours, or D, 10 hours? How many hours was the average workday before the Labor Day Act was passed? Ooh.
Let me go with B.
I have no idea.
Let's think about it during break.
Back in my day, we didn't have all these types of fancy chicken.
Pretty sure you have buffalo wings and fried chicken.
Well, we didn't have garlic parm or sweet bourbon barbecue.
And he had to walk uphill both ways.
And it snowed every time.
Yeah, right, Grandpa. You're from Miami.
My late father-in-law lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had AMD. I didn't know it then, but it can progress to GA, an advanced form of the disease. His struggle with vision loss from AMD made me want to help you see warning signs of GA, like straight lines that seem wavy, blurry or missing visual spots that make it hard to see faces, like this one, or trouble with low light. That makes driving at night a real challenge. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. GA is irreversible. It's important to catch it early. Talk to your eye doctor about GA and learn more at GAWon'tWait.com.
I've always been prone to hair thinning.
I was getting older.
I was under a lot of stress.
I started taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement.
I am back to me.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
Consumer Cellular, this is Sam. How may I help you? This is Sam. How may I help you? Oh, this is a butt dial. Well, somebody's butt. Just thought I'd let you know that with Consumer Cellular, you can get the same exact coverage as the leading carriers, but for up to half the price.
I can get behind that.
I know, right? I just talked to a butt. Congrats.
My most important kitchen tool? My brain. So I choose new Nariva Ultra. Unlike some others, it supports 7 brain health indicators, including mental alertness, from 1 serving to help keep me sharp. Try new Nariva Ultra. Think bigger.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who scans this QR code. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Scan the QR code. Don't wait. Scan the code now and ask about the Bosley Guarantee.
Well, welcome back on this Labor Day. And, you know, we were talking about this before the break. We asked you all at home, how many hours was the average workday before the Labor Day Act was passed? Okay. Now, we said, is it A, 14 hours, B, 16 hours, C, 12 hours, or D, 10 hours? How many hours was the average workday before the Labor Day Act was passed?
I guessed 16, but I now feel like my answer is wrong.
I did not know. Remember, I deferred to you. And the answer is... C, 12 hours. That was the average workday before. Okay, gotcha.
12. Yeah.
And one of our colleagues here in the studio, he said, one of our videographers, we kind of surmised that it was probably as long as the sun was up because people
makes total sense. I should have thought about that when I submitted my guess before the break.
That's what we're talking about there once again. Well, ahead on this half hour, scammers taking advantage of hurricane victims.
Yeah, we're going to tell you how to protect yourself and what to do if your insurance is dropping your home's coverage.
And we now know what killed music icon Jimmy Buffett, a rare aggressive form of skin cancer. This morning, everything you need to know about Merkel cell and what you can do to reduce your risk.
Yeah, such sad news this weekend. Also, gender reveal parties becoming more and more extreme, becoming more dangerous. Is social media to blame? We discuss it straight ahead.
But right now, we want to take a look at some of the other stories you'll be talking about today. Here's what's in the mix. We begin with news in the entertainment world. Steve Harwell, the original lead singer of the band Smash Mouth, is in hospice care. The group is best known for its hits like I'm a Believer and All-Star. Harwell's manager saying he's in the final stage of liver failure after previously undergoing treatment for alcohol abuse. His manager also telling TMZ the 56-year-old Harwell has only about a week to live, and he, quote, loved his fans and loved to perform. I was just talking with another one of our colleagues about him and his music. Yeah, it's going to be missed.
Yeah, some greats.
Now to a consumer alert. Hillshire Farm smoked sausage and banquet chicken strip entrees. They're being recalled. If you see these packages in your fridge, you either need to throw them out or return them to the store. This is because of possible contamination issues. Take a look at your screen right now. These are images of those packages. The Food Safety and Inspection Service announcing Saturday the sausage may contain bone fragments, while the chicken strip meal may have plastic. If you have any of these products, once again, you're advised to throw them away or return them to the place of purchase for a full refund. And Selena Gomez, Owen Wilson, Prince Harry, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and Gerard Butler, and Will Ferrell. Oh, that's quite a list.
All at one game?
Yeah, that's not a list of guests at the Oscars. It's the short list of the celebrities who turned out to watch Lionel Messi and Inter Miami take on LAFC on Sunday night. Wow. Messi didn't disappoint, dishing out a pair of assists as Inter beat LAFC 3-1. Now, Messi now has 11 goals and 5 assists in his first 11 games with Inter Miami. Wow, he really is on a tear.
Yeah, and we've also talked about those ticket prices that have just skyrocketed.
I need the kind of settlement Kevin Costner was giving out to buy those.
Worth it for a lot of those fans.
Well, they're back. 4 astronauts returned to Earth early this morning following a 6-month stay at science mission on International Space Station. Now, their SpaceX capsule parachuting into the Atlantic off the Florida coast, the self-driving splashdown, marked the 4th trip to space and back for the Dragon Endeavour capsule. Crew 6 was relieved of its duties by Crew 7, which arrived at the space station for its 6-month stay last week. I want to say welcome back to Earth, Crew 6. And I know you can't wait to have some of that chicken from Popeye.
And see family.
And see family.
Get a hug.
Hug your babies,
I
absolutely.
can't imagine.
Well, listen here. I love this one. A NASA scientist revealing alleged secret meetings to talk about steps if the James Webb Telescope captures potential evidence of alien life. She shared that the $10 billion telescope, which launched in December 2021, has already provided data. Now, the Department of Defense recently unveiled a website featuring new info on UFOs. A news release saying it will, quote, serve as a one-stop shop for all publicly available information. So what they're saying is that if they do capture something, they will indeed include that information as well as all the other things that they've gathered, even from the hearing that was, prompted by our investigation.
What a wild and wonky year that we have had in every way imaginable.
And Markie, and I've said it before, I don't know that I want to see other alien life. If something's out there, just stay on out there.
Yeah, you don't want to know about it?
Nick don't want to know.
Okay, y'all tell me. I'll take the info. Let's talk about these gender reveals. As promised now, another gender reveal taking a tragic turn over the weekend. I know you've seen this on your Instagram feeds, your Twitter accounts. A plane in Mexico taking a nosedive, killing the pilot after dropping a stream of pink smoke above cheering guests over the weekend. A California couple, take a rewind for a second here. A California couple was charged with manslaughter and arson after their 2010 gender reveal sparked a massive wildfire that ultimately killed a firefighter and torched close to 23,000 acres, 5 homes, 15 other buildings. Let's bring in NewsNation media analyst and Mediaite.com founder, editor Colby Hall. Colby, I'm sure you did just like me. When you saw this, you put it on replay, trying to dissect it all, second by second. Your initial thoughts when you first saw that video?
Well, I mean, I have to say, honestly, my first thought was like, what a sad tragedy and what an unnecessary tragedy. And then I thought, if there was as clear a sign as ever that we need to sort of slow down this trend of social media promotion, gender reveals, this is it. I mean, people are dying because of these gender reveals. And gender reveals are entirely a trend that has been born from social media, Instagram and TikTok. I'm old enough to know that, we didn't used to do these things. And now there are generations that feel you don't have a baby unless you do a gender reveal, which are now deadly. So it's sad, but maybe this is a clear sign that we should stop this trend.
Yeah, I felt terribly sad for that pilot, his family. I believe, if I have it correctly, he's in his young 30s.
Right.
When you watch this, do you place all the blame on the couple? Do you blame partially the pilot or his company for saying, yeah, we'll come through and we'll crop dust, your 20 guests in the backyard? I mean, is it a mix of both? Where do you place the culpability here?
Well, the pilot and they're looking for business, and I'm sure that this is just a tragedy that they've done a million times. The couple just thought it would be a fun, interesting thing. I really blame sort of us as a society that thinks that now this is a pretty normal thing that doesn't really count or doesn't really matter unless you memorialize it with this sort of over-the-top kind of doing better than the guy before you and announcing the gender identity of your child, which again, I'm going to quote my friend Charlemagne, who said that when you've made good decisions about friends when you've never been invited to a gender reveal party, and I also never been to a gender reveal party, but I guess that's because I'm of a certain age. So, also I think younger generations feel that you need to memorialize every sort of normal thing, whether it's engagement parties or gender reveals, and capture it on video. And maybe this is something that we should just sort of slow down.
Yeah, I take it back. I've been to only one in my life, and that was enough for me, I do think. So at any point, what's it going to take, I guess, for couples to tone it down? And do we ever see the pendulum swing the other way, where we're not living in this world where everything is for clicks and for likes and for views and for retweets?
I mean, clout. You're chasing social media clout. And I would love to say that this is a trend, not just gender reveals, but doing this sort of strange larger, this is symptomatic of a larger problem. That is, people need validation by putting videos of normal day things online to sort of feel like they are part of something larger. And I feel that fills a hole that previously was sort of sated by, going to church or being part of a community, school, and that has largely gone away. And so we get this false sense of community by getting clicks. And I would love for it to go away, but I feel sadly that the genie is out of the bottle, and we're just sort of trying to make our way of what makes sense with this whole new technology. And sadly, we're now capturing things that are deadly. Something as innocent and as well-intentioned as even a gender reveal. So I would love to say that this is going to end. I'm afraid it's just going to keep going. Yeah,
I have a sneaking suspicion that you are correct. But yeah, we've lost sight of the good stuff in life, and it's all for show. It is all for show now, which is terribly unfortunate. Colby Hall, thanks for joining us, and go enjoy your Labor Day.
Thank you.
Talk soon. Well, more to come on Morning in America. During this hurricane season, insurance companies are causing natural disasters of their own by dropping coverage, and scammers are taking advantage. How to protect your assets, straight ahead.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine, but it doesn't spy on your searches. And our browser blocks creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And it's free. Download DuckDuckGo today.
When you find your reason to go on, let it pull you past the doubt, past the pain, and past your limits. No matter what, we go on. BioFreeze.
Man, I wish I was out there. Let's unretire. Why not?
Dan Marino?
You all right? 22. 22. I'm good right here, bro.
Should we? Don't even think about it.
Icy hot. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last. Feel the power of contrast therapy. So you can rise from pain. Icy hot.
For 12 years, for 4,383 sunrises, across millions of mornings, we've been working to make one thing better. This, a science-driven formulation to support whole body, brain, and gut health. Start at drinkag1.com.
Have you heard? Sling TV offers the news you love for less. Wait, you look and sound just like me. Actually, I am you. Because I'm the same news programs on Sling for less. You mean you're me, but for less money? A lot less. I'm all your favorite news programs and more on Sling, starting at just $40 a month. Everything great about me, but for less money, which makes me greater, don't you think? It's the same news for less, starting at $40 a month. Sling.
My name is Wendy. I'm 51 years old, and I'm a hospital administrator. When I talk to patients, you can just see from here up when you're wearing a mask. And I have noticed those lines beginning to really become not so much moderate, but more severe. I'm still Wendy, and I got Botox Cosmetic. And I'm really happy with the results because they're very subtle, and I feel like I look like myself, but just less lines.
Botox Cosmetic is FDA approved to temporarily make frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better. The effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Do not receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow, eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Tell your doctor about your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Welcome back. As natural disasters and extreme weather events continue to devastate American communities, scammers and insurance companies are taking advantage of vulnerable homeowners. Reports say at least 5 U.S. property insurance companies, including Allstate and Nationwide, are dropping coverage for weather-related events while hiking up the price for premiums and deductibles. Kevin Johnson is president and CEO of Suncoast Credit Union, the largest credit union in Florida. He joins us to talk about the tactics scammers use to lure people in and how to deal with losing insurance coverage. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Kevin. I'm just going to show my bias here and just tell you straight up, I think that those who take advantage of those who have been victimized because of some natural disaster are literally the lowest of the low. But Kevin, it's scary to lose insurance. What do homeowners need to do if this happens to them?
Yeah, it's becoming a problem. And some of the advice that we would give to homeowners out there is to look at how ways they can harden their homes. Insurance companies are taking big losses on these storms. They're becoming more prevalent. They're causing more damage. It's causing more collateral damage. And they're looking at ways that they can stay solvent. And some ways that can happen is if these homes are more hardened to be able to withstand some of these storms. And we really encourage government to get involved to incentivize homeowners to do this so that the insurance companies will not incur as many losses and will continue to offer coverage to these homeowners.
Hey, insurance companies aren't offering coverage because they're losing money on it. Totally got that part. Kevin, let me ask you this. What is the onus on maybe the government or homeowners to then not be able to either rebuild in those areas or because clearly the penalty is now you're not able to insure your home. But this continues to also be a burden on taxpayers.
It does, and there's no easy solution to this. We would recommend just to be vocal with your lawmakers. We have to find a mutual beneficial solution for both the consumer and the homeowners, as well as the insurance companies. And it's going to require all of us to come together, working with government to come up with solutions, as I described, to maybe provide some incentives out there and premium discounts for those that do take action to be able to harden their homes or build new homes that can withstand these storms a little bit better.
And Kevin, I have about a minute left. Scammers are pouncing on homeowners left and right after hurricane events and fires and flash flooding and things like that. What are some warning flags that homeowners should be aware of to maybe be alert for a scam?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of the red flags that we see are, door-to-door fake repair technicians trying to seize on the emotions of people that have just experienced a natural disaster, asking for immediate payment. We would encourage to do your research on these people before you provide any money. Never pay in cash. Read the contract, ask for their licenses to make sure they're legitimate. I would strongly encourage not to take action when you receive these solicitations. Follow up, do your research online to make sure that these companies that these individuals are representing are legitimate before you take action. Get multiple bids on repair services. These are all good practices to follow to not fall for scams.
And Kevin, I need to wrap, but where can people learn more if they want to try to find homeowners insurance after they've been dropped by some of the big companies?
There's a lot of resources online. I would just encourage them to go online, and FEMA might have some resources to look for. In Florida, there's a citizens option that's last resort for people that can't find insurance.
Kevin Johnson, thank you so much for joining us on this Labor Day holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, still ahead this morning, singer Jimmy Buffett's cause of death has been revealed. A doctor explains what killed the music icon and how you can keep yourself safe from the same disease. And if you're headed to work and jumping in the car, you ain't got to leave me. Take me with you. I want to come. You can now listen to NewsNation on the go. Yep, Markie and I'll be right there sitting in the back seat, buckled up, riding with you. Just open the NewsNation app and click on Listen. It's free. No need to sign up. It's available 24 hours a day. Me whispering in your ear. ASMR. ASMR. You're watching NewsNation Now, a morning in America. News for all America.
The CW is your new home for college football as we team up with the ACC to bring you 13 electrifying games. The ACC on the CW. It all kicks off Saturday, September 9th.
Kayaking is my thing.
Running is awesome, but her moderate to severe eczema would make her skin so uncomfortable.
Now, I'm staying ahead of it.
Dupixent helps heal your skin from within so they can have clearer skin and less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
I'm not just accomplished, I'm accomplishing. So I'm doing all I can to help lower my risk of breaking a bone.
For postmenopausal women with osteoporosis at high risk for fracture, taking calcium and vitamin D may not be enough. Adding Prolia is proven to help strengthen bones and reduce spine fracture risk by 68% with one shot every 6 months. Do not take Prolia if you have low blood calcium, are pregnant, are allergic to it, or take Xgeva. Serious allergic reactions like low blood pressure, trouble breathing, throat tightness, face, lip, or tongue swelling, rash, itching, or hives have happened. Tell your doctor about dental problems, as severe jawbone problems may happen with Prolia, or about pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred. Talk to your doctor before stopping, skipping, or delaying Prolia, as spine and other fractures have occurred. Serious side effects like low blood calcium, serious infections which could need hospitalization, skin problems, and severe bone, joint, or muscle pain have occurred.
I have so much more to accomplish.
Talk to your doctor about Prolia.
Law enforcement calls it house stealing, when cyber thieves transfer the title to your home out of your name to take out fraudulent loans or even sell it. How do you protect yourself? Get triple lock protection from Home Title Lock. Our triple lock protection gives you 1, 24/7 monitoring, 2, urgent alerts of any title changes, and 3, title restoration help from our team of experts. Do you know if your title is safe? Check your title status now at HometitleLock.com.
This is not just a shot. This is wellness made easy for those who've got plans. Get your flu shot and other vaccines in one trip. Schedule online today.
Decades of UFO records kept secret in the National Archives. Until now, NewsNation correspondent Evan Lambert gets an exclusive inside look at the historical documents and photos. And just how close are we to it all becoming public? Tuesday on Elizabeth Vargas Reports.
Have you thought about updating to a walk-in bath? Walk-in Bath Club offers the finest quality products on the market today. Call and schedule a free, no-obligation quote for your walk-in bath now.
Walk-in Bath Club brings you ease and comfort in having one of the lowest step-in height units available. And just imagine whirlpool and massage jets creating a relaxing spa-like experience right in your home. Call now and get $1,000 off your walk-in bath plus low monthly payments with this exclusive TV offer. With a brand new walk-in bath, you can unwind and relax using powerful hydrotherapy along your legs, feet, and spine, while staying warm with heated back, neck, and shoulder surfaces, all at the touch of a button. Walk-in Bath Club gives you a modern and luxurious experience, installed in as little as a day and backed by a lifetime limited warranty. So call Walk-in Bath Club and get $1,000 off your walk-in bath and low monthly payments now. For a free quote,
call 800-431-9296. That's 800-431-9296.
Well, he made lounging at the Cabana Bar cool, and he made us all want to go to Margaritaville and have a drink. And this morning, fans around the world are paying tribute to Jimmy Buffett.
Parrot heads all over the world are definitely mourning the loss. He died over the weekend. Of course, you know, and probably sang one of his most famous songs, Margaritaville. The 76-year-old had a rare type of skin cancer called Merkel cell. He was diagnosed 4 years ago. Now, fellow musician Clint Black called Buffett a friend for years. He spoke about their special bond Sunday night on NewsNation Prime with Natasha Zubez.
People always say don't meet your heroes because, you know, a lot of times they disappoint. He's not one of those. Jimmy's, you know, there are plenty of them out there where you meet him and you go, okay, that's why I loved him so much and his music. You meet the guy and you go, wow, that's the guy behind all of that stuff. And I see why. You know, you just, you know, he's a one of a kind, larger than life, sweetheart of a guy, fun, funny, brilliant. And, you know, you get to see that. And then a lot of fans have met him over the years, but not most, I would say. So that would be the one thing. If you thought he was a great soul, a great spirit, very generous, an adventurer who knew how to share his adventures, then you were right. That's what it was. They say grief is the price you pay for love. And, you know, I loved Jimmy since I was a teenager. And then getting to know him, I loved him more. He was one of those people you just could never be disappointed by.
Grief.
There were a couple of things. Yes, go ahead.
Grief is the price you pay for love.
I love that. And can you imagine, he called him a great soul and a great spirit, and it's clear that Clint, who looks like one of the most pleasant people on earth.
The kindest, is he not? I love him.
And there's something about men sharing that love, right? That's just really just hits the heart. So definitely. So to those who knew and loved Jimmy, and our condolences to his family.
Thinking of them this morning.
Absolutely. Well, earlier I spoke with internal medicine physician Dr. Dawn Harris-Sherling. We talked about Merkel cell carcinoma, and that's the kind of type of cancer that Jimmy Buffett died from. She explained what it is and what to look for so that you can keep yourself safe.
So Merkel cell is a pretty rare cancer. It only affects about 3,000 Americans a year, which is still a significant number. But compared with melanoma, which affects 1 in 30 Americans, melanoma is much more common. So that's the one we often hear about. But Merkel cell can be very aggressive. And as we see, sadly, with Jimmy Buffett, it can be very deadly.
Now, I remember seeing him outdoors. Does it have anything with being outdoors or, Nick, that's not connected to it at all? What are the risk factors and how can you identify it?
So it does. Like melanoma, it is affected by the sun. And if you spend more time in the sun without the proper protection, without covering up or using a good sunblock, you can be more susceptible to Merkel cell, just like with melanoma. Being lighter skinned and being older actually also impacts the risk for Merkel cell cancer.
Dr. Sherling, you know, I just had this conversation. Again, Markie and I were talking about what we did over the weekend. We both did a tour on a boat on the lake in the sun. I wore a hat, I put on sunscreen, and, you know, I've talked to friends who are also African-American, and they're like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. This is something that can affect everyone of every ethnic group, correct?
It can affect everyone of every ethnic group. So being lighter skinned puts you at higher risk, but being darker skinned doesn't eliminate your risk. So it's very important for all of us to be sun aware, to protect ourselves in the sun, whether that's wearing hats, wearing a good sunblock, whatever it is, but making sure we don't get those sunburns. You know you're taking too much sun if your skin is starting to get burned, and it shouldn't get to that point.
Staying sun aware. Something we all need to make sure that we do.
And learning something new every day. You and I, neither of us had heard of Merkel cell until this weekend and Jimmy Buffett's passing. Coming up, 70,000 festival goers stranded at Burning Man. Can you imagine what they're going through right now? It's flooding that's created this muddy mess. It's closed down roads. How officials plan to get every single one of those festival goers out of the middle of the desert. Straight ahead.
Not flossing well? Then add the whoa of Listerine to your routine. New science shows Listerine is 5 times more effective than floss at reducing plaque above the gum line for a cleaner, healthier mouth. Listerine, feel the whoa.
Back in my day, we didn't have all these types of fancy chicken.
Pretty sure you have buffalo wings and fried chicken.
Well, we didn't have garlic parm or sweet bourbon barbecue.
And he had to walk uphill both ways.
And it snowed every time.
Yeah, right, Grandpa. You're from Miami.
My most important kitchen tool? My brain. So I choose new Nariva Ultra. Unlike some others, it supports 7 brain health indicators, including mental alertness, from 1 serving to help keep me sharp. Try new Nariva Ultra. Think bigger.
My mental health was much better, but I struggled with uncontrollable movements called TD, tardive dyskinesia. TD can be caused by some mental health meds.
And it's unlikely to improve without treatment. I felt like my movements were in the spotlight.
Ingrezza is a prescription medicine to treat adults with TD movements. Ingrezza is different. It's the simple, once-daily treatment proven to reduce TD that's #1 prescribed. People taking Ingrezza can stay on their current dose of most mental health meds. Ingrezza 80 milligram is proven to reduce TD movements in 7 out of 10 people. Don't take Ingrezza if you're allergic to any of its ingredients. Ingrezza may cause serious side effects, including sleepiness. Don't drive, operate heavy machinery, or do other dangerous activities until you know how Ingrezza affects you. Other serious side effects include potential heart rhythm problems and abnormal movements.
It's nice. People focus more on me.
Ask your doctor about #1 prescribed once daily Ingrezza. Learn how you could pay as little as $0 at Ingrezza.com.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine, but it doesn't spy on your searches. And our browser blocks creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And it's free. Download DuckDuckGo today.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who scans this QR code. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Scan the QR code. Don't wait. Scan the code now and ask about the Bosley Guarantee.
It's easy to think that all money managers are pretty much the same. But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
Nope, Fisher avoids them.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Never at Fisher Investments.
Okay, then you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we structure our fees so we do better when clients do better. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
All right, welcome back. If you get ready to fly home from the long holiday weekend, what are your thoughts on airplane bathroom etiquette, especially if you're in the window or middle seat?
Okay. We also came across an article where a traveler was baffled when the flyer in the middle seat told him to hold it. So this is why we're asking the question. They told him to hold it after using the bathroom 3 times in under 3 hours, waking her up to do so. So what do you think about the etiquette, and also how do you handle this?
I didn't
when
know
someone
that, the waking
throws
up
this at
3
you?
times. Absolutely. So I'm like, no, you need to sit there.
Sometimes
Thanks.
when you gotta go, you gotta go, though. I mean, it'd be worse if you peed your pants on the plane. I mean, that would be awful to have to sit next to that.
I would say, ma'am, just sit right there in that window seat. You'll be fine. You'll be all right. But we're not doing this all day. Do you
Or
need to
switch
get
seats, maybe.
No, I'm not switching seats. I pay for this seat. Sit there. Okay, we'll land in
Do
an
you
hour.
get an aisle or
I
a
sit
window?
in a window, but
for
I never
this
get up.
reason?
I never get up.
I don't either.
I am knocked out before the door closes, and I always miss the cookie.
Oh, the biscottis.
Yes,
the little snacks.
I don't mind waking people up if it's necessary. But yeah, terrible to tell someone to just I don't know. Anyway, we're going on to the next hour, everybody. A lot of big headlines to get to right here on Morning in America.
I think there's a general sense